I wanted to talk to you a little bit about using Read and Write to help you read any article on the web and also to use within Google Docs. And this isn't just to help you read aloud to you, though that is one of the options, but it also can help you take notes. The more that we're assigned reading online, sometimes it's hard because we don't have the same highlighting tools that we do when we're reading in a physical textbook. And so this tool is going to give you some ways to not only highlight, but also to save those highlights for notes so that you can go back to them later on. And I'm going to give you some strategies for using Read and Write in this video. So once you have Read and Write installed, and you'll have instructions for that separately, I'm going to show you two ways to use it, one in your Google Docs and another when you're reading any website. Okay, so let me start in Google Docs. So if I click the Read and Write little tool, the icon, then I get a whole menu of options here. And I'm going to just highlight some of my favorite ones. So the first is, if you do need something read aloud to you, maybe it'll make your reading easier, then you can just highlight the text and press this button, the play button.
We hope you had a wonderful summer. We've been eager to share what we...
And it will read aloud to you. If it's reading too fast or too slow, then you can go into your options over here and you can choose what voice you actually like, and you can also choose the speed that you want. On the theme of helping you with your reading, there's also this screen mask, and you can choose the color that you want. Sometimes that makes your reading faster, and if you just click over here, you can change some of the options, what you want the reading color to be, what you want the background color to be, and so forth. So it doesn't have to be yellow, it could be blue, whatever you choose. Okay, so to get out of that, I just click again. The thing that I really want to emphasize, because I said it can help you highlight and save those highlights, is these highlights right here, and then this collect highlights option. So basically, if you go and you highlight things that are important, so I'm going to just highlight a couple things, and I know you can highlight in Google Docs, so just bear with me for a moment. I'm going to highlight in a couple different colors. And then I'm going to go in, and any words I don't know, I'm going to do in magenta here. So now I've highlighted up my Google Docs. Say that I was highlighting one theme in yellow, I was highlighting something else in blue, and then all the words that I don't know in magenta, okay? So now if I press this collect highlights button, what it does is it generates a new Google Doc just containing my highlights. And so that can be a helpful way to arrange my information if I've color coded how I've highlighted in the first place, and it saves all that in another separate Google Doc, and it also links back to my original Google Doc. So it kind of saves everything all in one place. That can make things really helpful. And then I told you that I highlighted in magenta the words that I didn't really know, and this only works for single words when you click on just a single word and highlight it, but there's this other tool here that's called vocabulary. So if I press that, it will create a vocab list for you, again in another Google Doc. So here you can see that it actually made a word list for me with the word, the meaning, the symbol, and then you can put in your own notes here. So if you're reading something and you need to memorize a lot of vocabulary from it, this could be helpful for you to kind of organize that information, and it's easier to study from than a whole massive thing that you're reading, right? So that's how it works in Google Docs. It's very similar on any website. It just looks a bit different. So again, if I click the little icon, the Read and Write icon, it's a little bar like this that actually moves around instead of, just being attached there. So that's one difference. So it still has this reading. So if I highlight something,
we hope you had a wonderful summer.
It'll still read aloud to me. It still has a screen mask here. It still has the highlights. It does the same exact thing with the highlights, and it does the vocabulary. One other thing that could be helpful for some web pages, it depends on the formatting, is a simplify page. And see, then it's just easier to read because it gets rid of all the clutter all over the place. So it can make it much simpler to read if you're just reading like a news article or something and there's all these like advertisements on the edges and you want to get rid of it. So those are just the basics of getting started with Read and Write in some ways that you might be able to use it this year. I do want to say that when you are highlighting up any website, so let me just highlight for a moment. I highlight it all up, right? And then I collect my highlights so that I can save them. Again, it will link me back to my original article, which can be very helpful in your studying and a way to organize things that your teachers are having you read. But the one thing I want to caution you is that when you refresh this web page, all your highlights will be gone because it's a web page. It can't save any of the highlights that you've done. The only way to save that is by generating that Google Doc collecting your highlights. Versus if you're highlighting in Google Docs and you refresh, all of that is always going to be there, always going to be saved for you because it's a Google Doc and it's saved versus a web page and you can't make changes to the actual web page. So that's the one difference that's important. But as you're reading a lot of articles on the web and you want to save your highlights by collecting the highlights, that's a way to do that. This also works with any PDF document that you have saved in your Google Drive, for instance. You can also use the Read and Write extension on that. So if your teacher is giving you a PDF document and you want to mark it up in this way, you can just save it into your Google Drive and then just go ahead and open it in your Google Drive so that it's on the web. Basically, anything that you're doing in Chrome, you can use Read and Write on. So if you can get your PDF into Chrome, and a way to do that would be through uploading to Google Drive, then there you go, and you can highlight it up. Okay, so that's some basics. If you ever have any questions about it, ask your teacher or please just come and see me. I'm Mr. Roshan. You can email me, stacy_roshan@bullis.org, or you can come and meet with me and I can help you use this even better. Okay, I hope that helps.